So, welcome to the Modern Man podcast. This is the revised edition, and this time I'm bringing it back with my co-coach, Mr. Osman. Welcome along, welcome aboard, brother.
Thanks for the introduction. They're all very excited to be part of the team, part of the Modern Man podcast. Let's do it.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So this time around, rather than a podcast, which is just going to be that has been purely interview based, this one's going to have myself and Son talking about lots of different subjects that affect modern men and middle-aged guys that are around today in terms of dating, relationships, finding your purpose, running businesses, and all of those sort of things, and sharing our experience in that. We're going to mix it up with bringing some of the other Modern Man coaches on board, and also interviewing some really exciting guests that we've got lined up over the coming episodes. So what I wanted to do today was just start by reintroducing myself, introducing Son, giving you a little bit of our stories to tell you how we got here, or the work that we do, and what the aim of the Modern Man movement and the aim of the Modern Man podcast is. So let's start with you, Son. Give us a little bit of your backstory, the whistle-stop tour of how you ended up becoming a Modern Man coach, and kind of why you want to do the work that you're doing at the moment, mate.
Good man. Right. How long we got?
Let's do the man version.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Right. I'll wrap it up in 20 seconds. So yeah, I met Fidel a year ago. Probably rewind from that. If you're looking back at about 20 years before that, I was a plumber for say 20 years. Had my own business, very successful for 10 years of that. But it just wasn't filling my cup. Following a cancellation of a marriage as well, or a wedding even.
We're going to dive into that.
Yeah, it's a real juicy bit of that. I felt unaligned with who I was. I went on my journey. So I sacked off the business on a bit of a quest, traveling, following my passion. I'm an outdoorsy lad. And and that took me to a discovery. I realized, life coaching was something that was on my radar for a while, and got introduced to Fidel from one of his past clients. And it seemed meant to be. I'd literally made notes about being a coach for men, even though not knowing that was really a sphere that existed. And then I met Fidel, and I was like, wow, someone else is already doing it. So that was pretty exciting. And it was one of those like signs, big signs to like go for it. And yes, that was bang on a year ago, actually, at our first chat. And yeah.
So what I'm going to interview you a little bit, because I think it's really interesting, and I guess the point of this is to help other guys kind of resonate with us a little bit, and get to know us, and understand where we've come from, and why the advice we give is coming from a real place, right? The stuff we've been through. So first of all, talk to me a bit about, so you lived in London, and you set up a plumbing business, good, decent entrepreneur at a fairly young age, and everything else like that. You know, when you started to feel unaligned with that, just talk us through that a little bit. How did that feel? Like, how did you know?
It was a feeling that I carried from day one being a plumber.
Really?
It was a logical choice to become a plumber, practical choice.
Right.
I know, typical guy. I looked at it a bit black and white. I didn't do uni and all that. I travelled quite a bit already, and I thought, what can I do to always fall on my feet? And trades, construction was in my family, so it was a smart choice, and it worked well. I thought I could always work for myself, make good money, work for anyone else, but always be work. So it's just a smart choice. But was it aligned with my skill set, my passion, my bigger vision for like maybe what I want my life to look at? I mean, I had no idea about all that stuff, so I was just
so this is what I'm trying to get, really. So most men have no idea about personal development and all of this sort of world that we live in. It gets quite easy to be locked in our bubble as a life coach, and you're on social media, and it seems like every other person is now a life coach, and da. But once you go back out into the real world, and you realize that most of the normal guys I know, the plumbers and the really lawyers, stuff that I did before, have no idea what that's all about, or even this conversation. So that's why I think it's really important to have it. So on reflection now, knowing what you know, you were saying that it wasn't aligned with your sort of passions and stuff like that. So you had no idea what those actually were. You just knew the plumbing wasn't it.
I mean, it definitely wasn't aligned with being a life coach, but no, I was good at drama at school. Everything
Okay.
else, I kind of like had to work really hard at to get good grades. I was good at maths.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, so I kind of, no, I didn't know what else I'd do.
You
And
just felt out of sync.
yeah, always felt I think, yeah, yeah. But I just like through work hard, put your head down, I could like power on. And although I'm like, yeah, super, my passion is, like I say, being outdoorsy. And I know I've always been good with people, conversation, and being friendly. But I'm like, how does that work? Where's that take me? So it was, but like I said, it's a path of discovery, really, to then meet you and I think through following then my journey of therapy for a couple of years before, for about from 3 years ago, and starting to do work myself following my breakup of my relationship.
Yeah.
I started to feel that, I have got a skill set. I can deliver and talk about feelings and have these conversations. And it's of interest to me as well. I like to have a chat on a deeper level.
I think that's how most therapists and life coaches get to become them, right? Through their own journey. They go through, they have therapy, they have life coaching, and they go, oh my God, that was amazing. Maybe I should try. In some ways, that's unfortunate. Because so for me personally, when I did discover it that way, so I went and had hypnotherapy to recover from a financial kind of car crash, and enjoyed going to hypnotherapy so much it was putting my brain, taking my brain to the gym. And my hypnotherapist was like, okay, you can stop coming now. We've kind of like solved the stuff you came here for. And I was just like, but I don't want to, like, this is fascinating. She said, if you're interested in it, why don't you go and train in it? So I did. And I remember going on my first hypnosis course, particularly when I discovered NLP, and I went on my first NLP program, coach training. I discovered the majority of people, almost everyone apart from me, was there for therapeutic purposes rather to build a business. I was the only person in that room that was there to learn how to do it, to start a business, that knew that from the start.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it is with NLP. The NLP practitioner is also that NLP practitioner process is a therapeutic process.
Yeah.
So you're a practitioner at the end, but for most people, the goal isn't to go and become a practitioner. It's to be able to practice it on and use all of the tools yourself to help yourself.
Yeah.
And it's quite a mind-blowing experience if you go with the right trainers and stuff like that. But I was the only one that was going like with my head screwed on, like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a business. I'm going to be a coach, which was interesting. And I think I see quite a lot of people who then go on, particularly from NLP practitioners. I'm not saying this about the people in the room at the time, but there's a lot of people I don't think have finished the journey of healing before they helping other people.
Yeah. Okay. What made you go down the journey of going to NLP first rather than going to like what I did, working with a coach to become a coach?
Universe. It's just what happened. As soon as I opened the door and kind of thought of it, there was a woman that I had met at a networking meeting probably a year before. I had no idea that time when I met her. I didn't give her any indication that I wanted to become a coach, that's what I wanted to do. I don't think I knew myself at the time, so I wouldn't have had that conversation when I met her. And then I just finished the hypnosis stuff, and ping on my phone, she said, "Hi, Fidel, I'm putting on a NLP practitioner's course. Do you want to come on it?" And like literally, it was that day that I was like, "Okay, so this is something I want to do. How am I going to do it?" So I was just like, "Hell yeah!"
Wow. You got to love
Things
it.
like that have continuously happened in my life. I think when you are in line, when you are in alignment, right? When the pupil is ready, the teacher shall appear, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
That
yeah.
has been the
In
case
abundance.
every single time. When I first met Dr. Glover and then Mr. Nice Guy, exactly the same thing. I didn't quite know where I was going with the coaching and stuff, and I was kind of stuck in a place where I was helping a lot of people with their mental health. Not my bag. Wasn't particularly enjoying it. A lot of them didn't have any money to pay me, and so it was an unsustainable business model. As much as you want to help people,
Yeah,
you really had the skill set or the desire to do that. Much I had lots of sympathy and empathy for them. It wasn't particularly how I wanted to spend my days. Right. And again, I just got divorced. I was skint. So I needed money. I needed to have a sustainable business model. And that wasn't it. Um, and I went through some personal stuff that made me pick up No More Mr. Nice Guy again. And I just fired Glover an email, just going, this is the second time I've read your book. Mind blown. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you've done. And he got back to me and went, hi, Fidel. I mean, I had a little chat. And he went, how do you feel about coming on my first practitioner course? Becoming a certified No More Mr. Nice Guy coach. I was like, oh my God. How perfect is this, right? And again, a little like NLP, it was a journey of self-discovery as much as it was about learning tools to help my clients. That program definitely changed my life.
mine was the I guess it's your own journey, and that's I think what tends to lead us into a niche or the area we work in. Most relatable for us because I guess
It's
we're
relatable for sure.
experienced in it, aren't we?
It's when you're far enough along the line to be able to, like, we're always a work in progress, right? Me and you both know that. Anybody in this world should know that. Anybody that says that the finished article is
Not the no or fibbing.
hasn't got enough self-awareness. We're always a work in progress. And as Dr. Glover says, we're covering nice guys, right? So, but there is a point where you are far enough up the ladder to be able to turn around and offer a helping hand up to the guys behind you.
Which is a lovely thing when you can. You feel like that's your thing because it's like it feels good, doesn't it? So then
It does.
pay it back.
And so then we have the Modern Man Coach Academy, right? Which is okay. So there's other guys. It's quite difficult to find specific. I don't think anybody was doing it. Specific coach training to help men. And there's too much. I was going to say there's too much work, but there's definitely more men that needed reaching than I can reach and I can do. And it also got everything, I think. So just doing it on my own. I thrive in a kind of team environment for sure. And what I didn't want to do was build a coaching business with staff. That's what I wanted. Like I wanted to be very independent with this company. I've got other businesses that have all of that stuff going on. But my coaching was something I just wanted to do. I wanted to be able to travel light, just me and my laptop, and my skill set. So how could I do that? I know I'll train some other guys with all the stuff that I know and get them to go out and help it, and they can be my colleagues, right?
Yeah.
That's how we are here, my partners. So here we are with this podcast. And the idea of it really is for us to share our real life experiences and to talk about some really important stuff. We are in strange times, unprecedented times, to bring back a phrase that used to get bandied around a lot. Our generation, what are we? Are we Gen X or Z or whatever? I
don't know. Yeah, I actually don't know. I turned 43 the other day. I don't know what it makes me. If anyone can tell me.
I think it's X's.
Millennials? I think we're millennials, maybe.
No, I'm definitely not millennial. They're the ones. They're youngest. They're younger.
No, you got Gen Z. I think Gen Z. And I think there's a newer one than Gen Z.
Okay, wherever we are, anyway, middle-aged men. Right?
We'd like to know our label. Whatever.
We're a generation. Our generation of middle-aged men that have grown up in ways that no previous generation of men have before. Many of us grew up in single-parent households. We all grew up in a time where women started to get a lot closer to equality, um, where most households weren't one income households anymore, where women were going out working, having careers, competing with men, and all of those sort of things. And we had, there were conversations going around, feminism and all of those things, and where things had been quite simple for previous generations before. Men do this, women do that. And I'm not, at the moment, we're not debating the pros and cons and the goods and bads of that. We're just telling it as it is. That's just what I'm saying. This is what it was. It was pretty straightforward. Men went to work, women stayed at home, raised the kid. That was what it was up until our parents' generation. And then that started to change. So we witnessed that, and it snowballed for our generation, right? It became the expectation, and people were chastised and told off. Women certainly were, right? If they for wanting to stay at home and stuff. And men certainly couldn't support a household in the 90s on one income anymore, wasn't feasible. So just really interesting time. Divorce rates, right? Divorces, again, our parents' generation, and that's only continued to grow. We've more people just living alone or living unmarried, and all of that sort of stuff, blended families. None of this stuff has ever happened before. Dating apps, right? People
What is the
getting
digital world?
digital world, Facebook, having affairs and stuff like that, has got made much easier finding your childhood sweetheart on Facebook and going back and having all of those complications. And, we've navigated through the early days of all of, just
Yeah.
even in the last 10 years, what social media has started off as and has become, what it is now. So we've navigated all of that. And whereas women naturally talk about the effects of their environment, they get together in groups and they talk deeply about stuff.
And with men, have men actually changed? We've still got the not so useful skill set of not being able to talk so much, of not being versed in having conversations with ourselves, not opening up and being able to talk about emotions, feelings. And we're in a time when it's even more important than ever that, it's a whole different time we're in, generation, and men need to get a new skill set and be able to, we need places, hence like the Modern Man Club, for us to go and to learn and to grow.
Yeah, because one of the
Ready
things
for
I
it.
noticed that we spoke about after running, we just finished running one of small group programs at Council of Kings. Like I said, the best part is even after on that first call, right? The things that men have, there's a phrase from Dr. Glover about terminal uniqueness. We walk about the earth thinking that we're the only ones that are experiencing it in that way, or that are hurting this much, or that we can't solve this problem. And we look around and we see all the other men and they all look like they've got their shit together. And we're the only ones that are feeling so desperate. I work with really some very, very wealthy, outwardly successful men that most people would envy the lives of, but inside they're in complete bloody turmoil, right? They don't like themselves, they lack confidence, they relationships, dumpster fires, they hate companies and the businesses that they've developed and everything else like that. And so they have a real disconnect, but they think that they're the only ones that are feeling that. And so when you get in a group of men who have all different walks of life, right? They look differently, and they suddenly just go, "This is what the stuff. This is what the stuff."
Help the bubble, like
Yeah.
what everyone else is. Whoa, you've got this, and all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, lets off, opens a big valve for them. They know they're in a safe place and they can talk. And Jesus Christ, does it just flow out?
So for me, that's the aim of this podcast, right? Is to try and pop the bubbles for all of the men and the women that listen to this. Help men of our generation out there have feel less alone, understand themselves and how to operate in the world a little bit better, and maybe even save some lives. I know that the Modern Man Club on Facebook has definitely done that. I've had enough messages, I get them fairly regularly, to say that just being out there and just seeing other guys talking about their stuff and sort of sharing has given hope to a lot of other men to seek help or to do the right thing or to change things up in a way that has brought them back from the edge. Because it's still, suicide is still the biggest killer of young men in this country. Which, I mean, just getting your head around that is a difficult. It's a kind of crazy statistic, right?
That's something part of go all the way back to that. That's a big why for why we're doing what we're doing. Planting a seed, a segue into doing more work, and just for guys not to feel alone, because that is a big thing of it. Like we just said about
loneliness is an epidemic at the moment, for sure.
Yeah.
Sense.
Just hearing, hopefully, I just feel like by hopefully just like chatting shit a little bit.
Like, there's going to be a lot of shit being chatted, mate. We're definitely doing a lot of that. We will have a laugh because, listen, although we just went deep a little bit and we talked about, men's suicide rates and everything else like that. I mean, that's an unfortunate reality. I think the answer isn't to solely just dwell on that. A bit like I was talking earlier on when I first started working with guys with mental health. I think that actually the answer to that is about empowering men, building communities, and just generally showing men a light, shining a light, right, and keeping things positive, keeping things happy, being solution focused, because that is a very masculine way to be. That's why men really like and respond well to coaching rather than therapy, because it's not about going backwards, it's about looking forwards, right? It's solution focused. Okay, here's the problem. We can figure that out. We can have a quick chat about it. But now what are we going to do about it? What's the action we need to take? And so I think moving forward, some of these episodes are all going to be fairly solution focused, right? We're going to be taking the problem and we're going to be talking about how guys can navigate their way through them as easily as possible.
Yeah, totally. Have some fun along the way. Everything should be done with, smile on your face and you enjoy it. And don't feel like you're alone.
Yes, indeed. So thank you all for tuning in and listening to this little opening broadcast for the Modern Man podcast. Hit subscribe. Come and find us on Facebook, Osman and Fidel Beauhill on Facebook, on Instagram. Find us on all our socials. Hit the subscribe button because that's the really helpful bit. If you find anything of our content useful, subscribe to the podcast. You'll greatly help us. You'll greatly help all the other men in your life as well, because it will give us a bigger reach. Share it loud and share it wide, please. Your support is very much appreciated.